Okay, so in this video, we are going to look at functions, and to be specific, we are going to look at composite functions. Okay, composite functions. Okay, I tend to believe, a function is a rule that changes one input into another output. Like you tend to notice some of the things you deal with in the calculator. Like for example, a square, that is a function. Because when you input one or a number, you get a different thing. So like when you put 2 squared, it gives you 4. So that is an example of a function. But at this point, we are going to look at when we combine two or more functions. That is now what is known as as a composite function. Okay, let's have a look at an example. How do we go through, or how do we handle composite functions? Okay, so we are going to have an example here. So we have the following functions. F of x is the same as 3x plus 1, and you have h of x, which is equals to 6x squared. Okay, then these are the questions you can get when the questions ask you find a h of f negative 2. Okay, and b maybe asking h of h negative 2. Okay, so when we talk of h of f, that is beginning with h of f negative 2, okay, it simply means these two functions, f of negative 2, okay, we will be replacing it in h. But before we do that, let's handle f of negative 2 first of all. Okay, so f of negative 2 simply means this negative 2 represents x that was in f of x. So where there is x, you put the negative 2. Okay, so I'll have 3 into negative 2 plus 1. That is negative 6 plus 1, which is negative 5. That is our f of negative 2. Then we come now to f of negative 2. So this f of negative 2 represents our x in the question h of x here. Okay, so instead of putting x, we put what f of negative 2 is, of which f of negative 2, we just got it as negative 5. So where there is x in the h of x, that is in this equation, or that function, we replace with negative 5. So we'll have 6 into negative 5 squared. Okay, so this becomes 6 times 25. And 6 times 25, that gives us 150. And that becomes our answer for part A. Okay, nice. Let's do part B. h of negative 2. We already know that h of x is 6x squared. So the first thing we do h of negative 2. That is, where there is x in the h function, we replace with the negative 2. So I'll have 6 into negative 2 squared, which will be 6 times 4, giving me 24. Okay, then to now get the h of negative 2, as we said with the previous one, this now represents the x, okay, in that function. So h of negative 2, you already got it, and h of x is here. So you take 6 into 24 squared, okay, which will be 6 times 24 squared, okay, is 576. We multiply it by 6, we get 3456. Okay, so that is one example of how to deal with composite functions. That is, when you are given a definite value you need to get. I can maybe have a second example which has a little bit of difference. F of x is x power 4, and g of x is the square root of x squared plus 36. Okay, then the question asks you find g f of x. Okay, So if you need to find g f of x, the function f of x becomes the x that you see here in this function. So where there is x in g of x, you replace with the function f of x. Therefore, g f of x becomes, okay, the square root of x squared. Now instead of x squared, we put this function, okay, which is x power 4 squared plus 36, okay. Therefore, this gives me the square root of x power 4 squared is x power 8 plus 36. Okay, so this is a case whereby you've not been given the value of x, and the previous example is when we have the value of x. Okay, so that is how we deal with composite functions, or what composite functions are. Thank you.